Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for today's session. My name is Carolyn with BridgeFT, going to be hosting today's session with you guys. Today's event discussing the new Eaglebrook integration and how that's going to bring a digital asset management solution to BridgeFT clients, co-hosted Bridge and Eaglebrook advisors. And we're going to kick off today's session with intros of our presenters. Derek, would you mind introducing yourself to everyone?
Yeah, hello. My name is Derek Tracy. I am the VP of Business Development at Eaglebrook, and my goal is to introduce our tech stack over to individuals like yourself.
Great, thanks so much, Derek. Also super excited to introduce my colleague Dave, representing Bridge on today's call. Dave, would you tell the group a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for joining today's webinar. My name is Dave Hagan, and I'm the Chief Commercial Officer at BridgeFT. Excited to kick this off and excited to announce our partnership with Eaglebrook and showcase some of the full capabilities.
Great, thank you guys. And before we dive into the content of today's call, I did want to let everyone know that we will be taking questions on today's call. So as we're going through the content, definitely take advantage of the Q&A tool that you see within the Zoom webinar platform and go ahead and submit any questions as those come up. So without further ado, Dave, if you want to kind of kick us off.
Sure. Thanks, Carolyn and Derek. To get started, I just wanted to say again, thank you everybody for joining. I'm actually dialing in from sunny Florida. Apologies for not having my my video on today, but wanted to make sure that we kicked off the webinar and a little bit about sort of our partnership and some of the integration work that we've been doing with Eaglebrook Advisors. I'm actually in Florida attending the wealthmanagement.com RA Edge conference, and I'm really excited about today's webinar because throughout this week's conference, digital assets and cryptocurrency have been a really hot topic, particularly their role in a client's overall portfolio strategy and how it relates to financial advisors in general. And the official announcement yesterday of our integration and partnership with Eaglebrook couldn't have been more perfectly timed. One of the big takeaways that I thought I would share with this group from the conference is that digital assets are truly here to stay. And there's been a lot of research and discussion around that. Cerulli just launched a new research report where they outlined as many as 80% of advisors have said that they've been asked about crypto, while 45% expect to be investing in crypto for their clients within 2 years. Those are definitely staggering numbers and continuing to grow. In addition, last week, an announcement by JP Morgan that crypto had overtaken real estate as one of its preferred alternative assets. So, continued sort of great news and momentum around interest and sort of really the opportunity around digital assets and cryptocurrencies. And digital assets are truly here to stay. And it's really up to us. And hopefully, the takeaway from today's webinar is to ensure that you're armed with education and tools really needed to support your practice and those growth opportunities around that as well. So, what you hear today is and see is really how this partnership provides our joint clients, both BridgeFT and Eaglebrook, with an integrated solution that makes it much easier to invest, manage, report, analyze, and bill on their clients' Bitcoin and digital asset holdings, all through a secure, unified technology ecosystem.
Great, thanks so much, Dave. And would you kind of start us off by telling the group a little bit more about BridgeFT, kind of like the technology we offer and organizational mission?
Sure. Give sort of a high level overview here before I hand it off to Derek. But our focus really for BridgeFT has been to empower financial advisors, financial institutions, fintechs to deliver better data-driven outcomes for clients, and we really do that through our multi-custodial software and data aggregation platform that automates critical back office operations and powers next generation wealth apps. And we do that all seamlessly by aligning wealth data, proactive client insights and reporting, portfolio management automation to help clients deliver truly personalized client experiences. Our technology is modern in its approach. It's truly cloud native. Everything we do is API first, providing sort of mission critical infrastructure for our clients. And that could be whether they're RIAs, financial advisors, fintechs, broker dealers, asset managers who are looking to deliver those unique experiences. We touch all of those different areas from our through our technology.
Thanks, Dave. And then I guess just going a little bit more in depth kind of into Bridge's network and how we work with other organizations as part of that.
Yeah, I love putting this slide in here. And again, there's a lot going on, but really this is designed to give sort of an aerial view of BridgeFT and sort of our offering. And we really view ourselves as a technology enabler, whether that's through our platform, specifically designed for financial advisors, offering everything from, performance reporting, client reporting, fee billing, practice intel, client portal, model, marketplace, really a suite of tools, to help the advisor manage, their back office operations. And now adding sort of connectivity to Eaglebrook, this edition, really provides, sort of a whole picture, complete picture of a client's, financial picture, including digital assets. At the core, that really big box in the middle is our developer API. And this is really our bread and butter, a modern API suite, which has a host of software development kits, that allows for full connectivity to our multi-custodial, data aggregation platform. So many of our clients have used our APIs to build, personalized experiences, whether that's client portals or management reporting and dashboards or analytical tools, really unique capabilities to power their own experiences. And we have this sort of build once, access many approach. Build once to those APIs. We'll manage all the data and infrastructure, whether it's aggregating the data, reconciling it, enriching it, and ultimately making that available to, through the API. Now with Eaglebrook, we can bring, in crypto SMA data seamlessly for more robust reporting, analytics, and even fee billing. So with that, that's kind of the overview on us from a Bridge perspective. With that, I'll kind of turn it over to Carolyn, to you, and to Derek on the Eaglebrook side.
Yeah, thanks so much, Dave. And Derek, super excited for you to kind of give an overview here of Eaglebrook. And again, just want to give everyone a heads up that later on today's call, we're actually going to get to actually see a demo of Eaglebrook. So Derek will take us through that as well. So without further ado, take it away, Derek.
All right, thank you so much. And I love that you brought up JP Morgan, how things have changed with Jamie Dimon's approach and thought process around digital assets from 2017 to 2022. We were really excited about the opportunity of bringing our platform integration into Bridge. And you understand the importance of having reporting, being able to fee on your digital assets. And that's exactly what we're doing with our partnership with Bridge. But as far as Eaglebrook, right, we'll talk about Eaglebrook, where we came from, who we work with, how we work with them, some of the product set that we have. And as Carolyn was saying, we'll dive into the actual platform itself, be able to see the UX, the UI, and demonstrate, just how the ease of use of our platform is for advisors to be able to allocate towards digital assets. But Eaglebrook is the very first company to be able to put digital assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum and other digital assets into the SMA, so the separately managed account format. Our focus is really driving this through RIAs, registered investment advisors. And that's really the niche market that we've really focused on. Eventually, probably in the next 2, 3, 4 years, we'll start moving upstream, going into the broker-dealer channel in the wirehouse. But right now, it's really focused on the RIA channel. And Eaglebrook was created in November of 2020. We were founded in 2019 as we built out the tech stack itself, but officially went live in 2020. And if you look at the next slide, it really talks about the key highlights of Eaglebrook and who we're working with. So as I mentioned, we came on board in November of 2020. We brought on our very first client, which is our marquee client, Mariner Wealth Advisors. For those of you on the call, you may know of Mariner. They're a top 3, $60 billion RIA. So they came on in January and they started funding accounts officially in March. So if you look at from March to today, Eaglebrook itself has over 70 partnerships with RIAs. The ones that we can talk to about, Dynasty Financial Partners, they're another $60+ billion RIA. Clearstead Advisors, that's a $32 billion RIA that also has an institutional arm. If you take all 70, which includes Halbert Hartgrove, Trek Financial, and you put them into aggregate, there's somewhere around an assets under management level around 10 billion. So Eaglebrook is working with some of the largest RIAs out there. If you take all those RIAs and you say, okay, who's utilizing our platform? Well, we have over 500+ advisors that are actively utilizing Eaglebrook's platform. What this is telling you is there's social proof that advisors are adopting digital assets. RIAs are adopting digital assets. And if they're looking for direct ownership of digital assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're coming to Eaglebrook Advisors. What you're also seeing on here is that we have Gemini on our dash. So what Gemini means to you as the advisors, that's who we use as our custodian. they are a qualified custodian. Think of them as the same way you may think of Fidelity and Schwab. One is just doing it for traditional assets. The other one is doing it for digital assets. We went out and did due diligence on 12 different exchanges, found that really they do a fantastic job of the security level, meaning everybody is held in individual hardware wallets. Everybody is held offline. In our space, that is called being in cold storage. So everybody's held offline behind tier 4 data centers. So the highest level of security. On top of that security level that Gemini has, we built an added level of security working with Gemini, which doesn't allow people to be able to take digital assets off of an Eaglebrook account through Gemini and send it to a separate wallet. The reason that we set that up is because if there were ever a bad actor, which Gemini was created in 2015, they have over 30 billion in assets. They've never had a hack or a theft. But if somebody were to go in there, try to take an individual hardware wallet, plug it in, try to send those digital assets outside of it to a separate wallet, it would actually just flip into USD, because USD and fiat is the only way to take assets off of our platform, and they would go directly back to the bank account or the brokerage account that was attached to the Eaglebrook account that you've created. So we made this a very easy process that has a high level of security. On top of that, the compliance level that Gemini has is buttoned up from a regulatory perspective, as they are a qualified custodian. They have a SOC 2 Type 2 review. They also have a BIT license. All things that are extremely important when we're out there talking to financial institutions like the ones that we're talking to today. And as you can see, the reason behind this call is we have a full integration of our platform into Bridge. So what that means to the advisor is you go onto our tech stack, Eaglebrook's platform, you onboard a client. Onboarding process takes 2 to 3 minutes. There is no paperwork, no wet signatures. Everything is driven from our platform. The client, the end client, your client, has a small experience that they need to be doing. But once you fund the account, which can all happen within 24 hours, that information that is being funded is then being sent back to Bridge for it to be able to populate into your client's account through Bridge, so that you could do your performance reporting, and as well as adding your fee structure to that digital asset component. I would bring in Dave and kind of talk about what they're going to be able to see over there at Bridge.
Sure, thank you, Derek. So from a data perspective, clients will be able to see sort of the fully reconciled accounts that come over directly from Eaglebrook. Those accounts can be grouped, they can be added to households, they can be reported on through our platform. They also appear as investment accounts alongside any custodial accounts or held away assets that the advisor may have that they're managing for that particular client as well.
Yeah, so as you're looking, or even if your clients go to their Bridge account and they look at their dashboard and they see their entire diversified portfolio, large cap, mid cap, international, whatever that may look like, now they're seeing a line item that shows that they have an allocation to Bitcoin or they have an allocation to the Ethereum. So the performance reporting is a fantastic process, as most advisors now are kind of uncovering those assets outside of their purview, which include digital assets, and part of putting that a part of their CFP, their full fiduciary responsibility of understanding what that full financial picture looks like. Now that's under the purview of the advisor, and you could see that performance reporting through Bridge. So very excited about that process. Now, if you look at the next slide, what you're going to be able to see is this is the product offering that we're going to be able to present to you and your clients if we signed a platform service agreement day one. So you could come in and you can utilize our tech stack to invest your clients into single asset SMAs through Bitcoin, a single asset long only Ethereum, or as the advisor, you want to make an allocation decision between Bitcoin and Ethereum. And as you, as the financial advisor, you understand your client's risk tolerance. You understand what's in their IPS statement. So maybe that's a 60-40 Bitcoin and Ethereum model. Maybe it's a 90-10. Maybe it's on the other side and it's going to be 40% Bitcoin and 60% Ethereum. That's all driven by the advisor and their end client. So you can fully customize that allocation between Bitcoin and Ethereum. One question you're going to ask is, what is the cost structure around this? What are the economics? Well, utilizing Eaglebrook's platform, you have a 100 basis point platform fee. There's a 10 basis point custodial fee. So it's 110 all in to the advisor. And then of course your advisory fee is added over a Bridge. We don't see that information on our end. So 110 all in to have an allocation between Bitcoin and Ethereum, or a custom allocation between Bitcoin and Ethereum. So very cost efficient in the digital asset space while getting that direct ownership. We have a $50,000 minimum and daily liquidity. You know, the reason that we really drive business through Bitcoin and Ethereum, as most people on this call probably know, that's 90% of the market share. These are the blue chips of the digital asset space. These are the Apples, the Amazons, the Googles of digital assets. This is where we think all advisors should really be focused on, because highest market cap, giving you the highest liquidity features, as well as the most buttoned up from a regulatory perspective. So Bitcoin and Ethereum is where the allocation decisions would start, and this is where you could focus on right now through your clients. Later on down the road, as you can see on the right-hand side, we do have, you know, rules-based SMAs like our Core Plus allocation. This is our SMA where you're going to be able to allocate towards a top 10 market weight, taking out, you know, meme coins, taking out stable coins, and it's going to give you a market weight of the top 10 in the digital asset space. So a little bit further diversification, but as its market weight, heavily weighted towards Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then as well, we have a risk managed strategy, which is available today. So what this means to you as the advisor is you want to own Bitcoin, but you really don't like the volatility structure of owning Bitcoin. Well, the risk managed strategy is ran by a company called Thor Analytics. They put a quant algo strategy on here, which their goal is to capture 80% of the upside of Bitcoin, but only capturing 40% of the downside. And it's very easy. It's no derivatives. It's just risk on or risk off. And so utilizing our risk managed strategy, you know, opens up another opportunity where if you as the advisor want to allocate towards digital assets, don't like the volatility structure, well, the risk managed strategy is an area that you might want to look at. So this is what's going to be available: Bitcoin and Ethereum customized as well as risk managed. And then we have other, you know, solutions that are coming in down the road in the second half of the year. If there's no questions, which I do, you know, I encourage everybody, you know, go to the Q&A, go to the chat, ask questions. Let's make this interactive, making sure you're well aware of what Eaglebrook is doing and how we're offering it. But as we continue on, what you'll realize is the reason that we've selected SMAs, which we all know there's a lot of avenues in the universe of digital assets, just like the traditional space. You can go an ETF route, you can go a fund route, you can go a trust route. Now you can go that SMA route. We think SMAs is the most optimized way to actually own digital assets because it's direct ownership. Your clients own the Bitcoin. They own the Ethereum. It's in their name. They look at their wallet on the public ledger, which is a blockchain. They will be able to see they have those digital assets in their name. So direct ownership is extremely important to us. What direct ownership allows the advisor and the end client to do is utilize our tax optimization tool. Tax optimization tool provides you to be able to tax loss harvest throughout the year, where you as the advisor only need to select what does that threshold look like. In the digital asset space, there is no wash rule. So you don't need to wait 30 days on both sides of that trade. And what happens here is, let's say you want to do a tax lot drop of every time it drops by 10%, you want a tax loss harvest, right? You want to offset some capital gain liabilities. So it drops by 10%, that triggers us to sell it, buy it right back, which happens in a matter of seconds. You're not losing your position in digital assets, but you're offsetting capital gain liabilities, which is a massive impact to your portfolio, your client's portfolio from a tax perspective at the end of the year. And you could take advantage of it without really having to do anything except selecting what that threshold is. And that happens at the very beginning of the onboarding process. And then we take care of the rest. And what you're asking is, all right, what about tax reporting from that sell to that buy? Well, we take care of the tax reporting for you. We send you, the advisor, and your clients during tax season, tax doc 8949. Because we all know the very first question that's on the IRS form is, did you buy, sell, or trade digital assets? As a qualified custodian, as a qualified, SEC registered RIA ourselves, meaning we are, same regulatory perspective that you're under, we send that information to you and your clients. So you'll be able to take that information at tax doc, hand it off to the accountant. And for any accountant on here that's used to seeing, maybe somebody trading on their platform and they get 100 pages of line items, there's actually only an average around 24 line items on that tax doc 8949. So that's something that Eaglebrook has created, doing our tax optimization tool. So something that we can take advantage of. That's really the big two key components around the SMA: direct ownership and being able to tax optimize it. But on the other side of that, as we talked about, portfolio customization, professionally managed strategies, as we are an SEC registered investment advisor, the same way you are, and at an efficient cost structure. The efficient cost structure can really be brought into a little bit bigger of a light. If you look at the next slide, you'll see the competitive advantages of working with Eaglebrook outside of going to some of the other avenues that you might be able to have access to today. I think the biggest one is Grayscale. Grayscale has 30+ billion in assets. GBTC is one that we come up against quite a bit. It's a private placement. Well, what's the big differences? Well, one, we have daily liquidity, and there you're locked up for 6 months. Two, the biggest one is you don't even own the digital assets. You are in a pooled investment strategy, commingled share. Where with Eaglebrook, you're in direct ownership. You actually own the digital assets. And I think for anybody who utilizes Grayscale, the cost structure to it. It's 2% plus transaction fees. You're locked up for 6 months. And right now, I think there's somebody might want to pipe in that might know a little bit sooner, but I think it's a 25% discount to NAV. What does that mean to you on the performance side? Well, last year, Bitcoin was up 60%. Grayscale was up a little over 7%. So you're missing out on some upside of the digital asset, where if you just utilize an Eaglebrook, you get the direct ownership, you actually get to capitalize on everything. And as you look down some of the other avenues, like the Galaxy Digitals, the private funds, and I think they have an average around 175 basis points compared to our 110. Some of these are 2 and 20, like a hedge fund, they have a carry fee on them. And you don't own these things. Your clients don't own the digital assets when they can easily use a cost-efficient strategy like Eaglebrook. The one that's not up here is the futures-based ETF that came out recently, BITO, B-I-T-O. It's 95 basis points. It's a futures-based. I won't get into the details of, contango and roll-up, but for 15 extra basis points, you get direct ownership. Once again, it's all back to the ownership structure and the cost structure of utilizing Eaglebrook's tech stack to allocate towards digital assets, as we're here to build that bridge between that traditional wealth manager and allocating towards digital assets. And last but not least, the one that everybody's familiar with is the traditional Coinbase account. If your clients are using a Coinbase account, which they have 83 million accounts, your clients are utilizing these of some sort. Well, 1.49% per transaction, round trip, that's 3%. You're sorry hearing this, it gets a little bit more cost structure over time, but ultimately the integration is not there. Your client's doing it on themselves when you can easily just bring that asset allocation in-house and make sure it's under your purview. Because the one biggest problem with Coinbase, what do retail investors do best? They buy high and they sell low. Right now, we're seeing a lot of retail investors sell out. We call those, weak hands. Well, they're actually selling to those individuals who are long-term holders who see this as a buying opportunity. And as the advisors, what we have on our platform, you don't see people selling out, right? Because this is part of goal-based planning. This is 3, 5, 10-year timeframes. They're actually allocating more because if you liked it at 50 and 60, you really like it at the allocation level as it is today, somewhere in the 30,000 range. So we all understand the importance of an advisor watching over their assets over a retail client doing it themselves. And that's really the hard points that we have between us and Coinbase, and really some of the other avenues that you can go down. And I think the next thing is we just—
I was going to say, at this point, you think we should turn it over to the demo?
Yes, I think that's a fantastic idea. Let's just—
I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen then, Derek. And if you want to dive into things, I think that'd be great.
Yeah, let me just pull it up. All right. Can you give me verification that we can all see this?
Yes, you can see it. Also, really quickly, Derek, we did actually just have a question come in. The question from the audience is, we've had convos with Coinbase as a direct custodian wired into our own TAMP through API. As you mentioned, they aren't there yet. Can Eaglebrook act as an API custodian?
I mean, that's definitely a conversation that we can have later on down the road, but knowing that everything is held in cold storage at our qualified custodian, Gemini, which is why Gemini is in the picture, our relationship with Gemini is through APIs. So they're not in our systems, we're not in theirs. And then what we've created is the data files that we're going to be able to send back to the Bridge integration system that we've created. So that's where those APIs are going to come into play, is what we have built in with Gemini, which allows everybody to get swept over into cold storage. So highest level of custodial purposes, as well as being have the ability to buy, sell, and trade as if it was online 24/7 in a hot wallet. So I hope that answers your question, but we could definitely make that a sidebar conversation that goes a little bit deeper of the integrations that we've created.
Thanks so much for going through that, Derek.
Yeah. And one thing that I would love to point out is, if your clients are utilizing, somebody like a Coinbase, and then you get a direct feed from that Coinbase account into whatever portfolio management system or whatever, tech stack they're utilizing on that side, what the difference is really your client sitting in a hot wallet, and you could be able to report on it. But as far as providing advice, putting your advice and your fee structure on there, I believe that that's probably not a system that's in place with them right now. When utilizing Eaglebrook, you get to be able to do that all encompassing through the tech stack that you're looking at. As we continue on, and appreciate that question. Like I said, happy to have a longer conversation around there, but due to the fact that we want to make sure everybody gets to see this in the time that we have, this is our platform. This is the turnkey solution that we've created for advisors to have. So when I send the account over to the advisor, they put in their credentials, they open it up, this is what they see. So imagine, I'm a tenured advisor utilizing Eaglebrook. I have 102 accounts. I have 2.9 million in assets, kind of looking at what the percent change over time is, being able to see how much Bitcoin, how much Ethereum. If you're doing a dollar cost averaging strategy, you're sitting in cash as dry powder, or you're waiting for a limit order, there will be a USD component to that. Gemini uses JP Morgan and Silvergate Bank. So that's where the USD is all being held. FDI insured up to 250,000, all those great things. Live ticker symbols that are being pulled from Gemini's platform because they're our liquidity provider. So where you might hear some of these other firms that have like an aggregate of all of the exchanges out there and what the price is, we want to make sure we have the price point of where we're actually making that purchase from. If you have other members on your team, you can very easily invite those other members of your team. So that way everybody has access to the actual Eaglebrook platform, giving you the full functionality. As we see a lot of teams is, there's the wealth advisor, the rainmaker, operations specialist, as well as trade specialist. Well, you want to have all three of those individuals on here because, the rainmaker kind of talks to the operations specialist to onboard the client. And then the trade specialist, who kind of monitors everything, wants to come in here and be able to, make allocation decisions based on that client. So as you have it pulled up, you're gonna be able to see all the clients that you have. So you can come to our platform to be able to look up, here's all of our clients, account type, market value, total performance. You can start digging in a little bit deeper. Keep in mind, you can also just live inside BridgeFT. Because if you're at Bridge, you're going to be able to see all this information. And the only time you need to come to Eaglebrook's platform is if you're onboarding, buying, selling, or trading. So this is what Jack Martinez's account looks like. There's 25,000, up a little over 24%, any recent transactions, open orders, trade instructions, any tax information for that year. This client only owns Bitcoin, but if they own Ethereum, you'd see more information here. It's very easy to be able to invest for this client. So if you just want to do a wire transfer, you can type in a wire transfer, how much it is, and then you as the advisor or the operations specialist would contact that bank or that brokerage and initiate that wire on behalf. What also is very exciting, if your clients do have assets sitting over a Coinbase, you want to put those out of a hot wallet, put it into cold storage, be able to feed that information into Bridge, be able to do all those great things that we do here at Eaglebrook. You can easily just in-kind transfer both Bitcoin and Ethereum. So as you're talking to clients, uncovering assets out of your purview, digital assets might be part of that. Well, you just in-kind transfer those. It takes 3 verifications on chain. All they do is go to their Coinbase account. They put this copy and paste wallet in there or the QR code that's the wallet as well. And those assets are now being pushed over to the Eaglebrook account that you've created. So this is roughly around 20% of the assets that we've brought in from advisors, clients, is in-kind transfers. Once the assets hit the platform, you go to the invest button, and then you just want to invest. You select the allocation that you want to make. If you want to invest in Ethereum for this client now, you want to do a market order, limit order, dollar cost averaging. You want to market order half of it, and then you want to dollar cost average the other half on weekly, bi-monthly, monthly. You want to make that a 20% dollar cost averaging. Right in this little box right here, will show you the actual decisions that will be made and when they will be made, when that 20% will hit the account. You confirm it, everything's automated from there. Same thing on the other side. If you wanted to come in here and raise cash or withdraw, it's just very easily selecting one of the decisions that you want to make. Raising cash keeps it on the platform as a dry powder. Withdrawal actually sends it back to that bank account and brokerage account. Once you hit this and you execute, the trades will be executed if it's a limit order, or if you just want to, make a decision right now, you can actually just make that withdrawal. It gives you the execution right there. One thing that we didn't talk about is the way that you can onboard clients. Most of you probably have sophisticated clients, and they're not just an individual or a joint account, but it's a trust account. It's an LLC, it's a corporation, it's an LP, it's an IRA. All of those onboarding capabilities can be done through our platform. You have a client that's in a trust, there's multiple beneficiaries, but all those beneficiaries are trusts. we can easily set that up. And the other great thing about it is, look down here at the contact us. We have an entire operations team and client services team that will be able to help you through these onboarding procedures. If anything comes up you have a question on, give them a phone call, send them an email. They'll be a resource to you during this process. The other thing I want to jump into before we kind of open it up to Q&A is Eaglebrook IQ. I would say that a significant amount of the advisors that come to us day one have a very little understanding around digital assets. So Eaglebrook IQ is the education suite that we've created to make sure that we give you the building blocks to understand what is the technology, what is the use case of that technology, and then what's the investment thesis. And each one of these areas will be able to help you that depending on what's the way that you learn. So maybe it's through crypto training for advisors. These are modules. Imagine you have a CFP, SEMA's out here in the crowd. Modules, each one of them has multiple slides. When you get to the end of those slides, there's a quiz. You pass the quiz, you move on. You don't pass it, well, you need to retake the quiz. Once you finish all 6, there's a digital asset exam. If you've completed this, which takes about 90 minutes if you're going through it fairly thoroughly, you'll really be able to articulate and to be able to educate your clients or just answer any question that might come to you from an end client. Because as the statistics that we've talked about in the earlier, what Dave brought up, questions are coming in and we want to be able to be a resource to you so that you can make those decisions on how you want to be able to answer those questions. All of our research reports are easily downloadable. We have our market commentary, which we put out every Tuesday. So if you want to get a snippet of what happened over the last week in the digital asset space, we put those out. You can also get on our distribution list. If you want to save yourself an email, you can just come to Eaglebrook IQ. Client approved materials. It's extremely important, and we understand that you have tangibles that you can put in front of your clients. Maybe it's talking about who's Eaglebrook. Well, if you go into a client meeting, you want to be able to take something with you. Here's our Eaglebrook fact sheet, talks about what we do, how we do it, and what's available to your client. Kind of that walk away that you can show your end client. We have podcasts and videos, and all of our due diligence documents are placed right here. Very transparent. If you think about Mariner, if you think about Dynasty, they didn't just approve us. They put us through a rigorous due diligence process. Every question that they've ever asked us before their approval, we've put on paper and we've provided to all of our clients. Not only can we send this all to you over email, but all of our due diligence documents are held right here in Eaglebrook IQ in plain sight for everybody to be able to come in here and go over and read. That's Eaglebrook IQ. And this is our Eaglebrook dashboard, the UX, the UI. We built this with advisors so that, as you can see, it's probably something you're familiar with. It's a very intuitive process. And we wanted to make it that way so it's just a seamless way for you to be able to add digital assets, just another arrow for your quiver. If you want to make it a defensive play, or you want to make it more of an offensive play and go out there and talk to your clients and make the initiative to discuss digital assets with them. That's Eaglebrook IQ. This is Eaglebrook's dashboard. Happily to sit here and take as many questions as possible. We want to make sure, like we said earlier, you understand Eaglebrook and what we're doing, and then what are the steps to be able to create a partnership with Eaglebrook, if that's through Bridge or coming to Eaglebrook as a whole, because there is a due diligence process. I'm sure everybody has one when it comes to actually onboarding a new tech stack or a new investment vehicle like the digital asset platform that we've created.
Yeah, Derek, thanks so much for going through that. Do see a question here regarding fees. So the advisor asks, how does the advisor put their advisory fee?
Yeah, and so that's great and a great question. We do not handle the fee structure on the advisory fee. Eaglebrook's fee of that 110 is taken out in kind. So on Bitcoin and Ethereum on a monthly basis, it's accrued daily, but it's taken out on a monthly basis in arrears. Your clients will actually be able to see that because we also send a statement to your clients at the end of every month showing how much Bitcoin they have, how much Ethereum they have, and then what was taken out for that platform fee, what was taken out for that custody fee. Let's say it's 100 Satoshis or 10 Satoshis, whatever that could be. And then what we send back to Bridge, you as the advisor would just put that as an overlay of what you're already feeing on the traditional side. It's probably coming from a Fidelity cash account or a Schwab cash account. We just add the AUM level of digital assets and the fee structure you want to put on there and pull it from that same account. Once again, We don't have anything to do with that because it's happening over on your systems, meaning you, the advisor. But that's how we hear a good amount of our advisors are putting their fee structure on the digital asset component that's being driven through Eaglebrook's platform.
Yeah, and Derek, I'll add to that. I think the nice benefit of this integration is, as you said, a lot of that sort of work and sort of heavy lifting on the fee billing side can be done within the BridgeFT platform. So, as the advisor sets, within the system, their own sort of individual billing plans for their clients, they have the ability to now, also bill on those digital assets that are managed through the Eaglebrook platform. So fees are automatically calculated, invoices can be sent to the client, alongside any, custodial accounts, traditional custodial accounts, held away assets, manual, assets that the advisor may be managing within the context of, our portfolio management system as well. And then ultimately send those fees and those reports off to the custodian for, any sort of debits and analysis that may be done on their end as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great point. And I can't emphasize it enough that we have seen advisors grow their book of business, in an organic way because of the ability to be able to in-kind transfer digital assets. And we have an entire white paper that helps the advisor, with what questions to ask, how that process works, and the importance of, really taking anything that you have in a hot wallet and putting it into cold storage, add a qualified custodian, all those great layers of security that we've created. As most of you have probably heard, last year alone, there's somewhere around $14 billion were hacked and theft and scammed through the digital asset space. 4 or 5 billion of that was through theft alone. And a lot of that is because people are putting their digital assets in a hot wallet, which is held online in the cloud 24/7. And, really people don't think about being hacked until it truly happens to them. So if the advisor can get in front of the client and kind of give them this education of best ways to actually custody those digital assets, it's a very easy, thorough process to be able to in-kind those, make sure they're in that cold storage and under the advisor's purview instead of having the end client having those assets at their fingertips.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Derek. I don't see any more questions coming in right now. However, I think we covered a lot of information for people to digest. So I did want to bring to everyone's attention, we have Derek's contact information here as well as contact information for Bridge. So feel free to get in touch with any further questions you have about any of the content that was covered today as well. You can also expect a follow-up email coming from me later today with a recording of today's session. So please be sure to refer to that as well. And Dave, I would turn it over to you for any kind of final thoughts.
Yeah, no, thank you for that, and again, thank you everybody for for making the time today to join us for this webinar. Hopefully, everybody found it informational and really helpful in regards to sort of digital assets. How you can basically leverage both tools in a seamless fashion to truly manage sort of that unique experience for your clients. Bridge, as I said early on, we're really excited about this partnership. Digital assets are truly here to stay, and our focus is on really helping our clients, Eaglebrook clients, advisors in general, to ensure that you have the education and tools needed for client success, particularly as this this asset class continues to emerge, particularly as you get more and more questions from clients. Creating sort of that seamless experience is really our focus. So feel free to provide feedback, questions. Don't hesitate to reach out. But ultimately, we want to make sure we're collectively sort of a resource for as you continue to go down the digital asset path as well. So thank you once again, and Derek, thanks for taking the time for the overview on Eaglebrook, and really excited about the partnership.
Yeah, likewise. Looking forward to talking to as many of you as possible.
Awesome. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us today. Everyone have a great rest of your day.